everybody, it's Emma. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. We are high up in my room today. I'm actually standing on a chair and you're propped up on my desk on a tripod because we are going to be talking about every book on my physical TBR, and we needed to be up here by my bookshelf, and my bookshelf is, as you can see, by the ceiling. I filmed this the other day and I brought all my books down with me, but I ended up not liking it, so I figured it would be fun if we were up here by all of my books. I have all of my books organized by author, so I have them like ordered alphabetically. I saw on Destiny Sidwell's video of showing her whole entire TBR. I saw her flip around all of her books that she hadn't read yet, and then she went ahead and talked about them, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing. Alright, we have all of my books flipped around. You can't really see these ones over here, but there's more on this side of the shelf than there is on this side of the shelf. Since they're in alphabetical order, we're gonna go ahead and start in alphabetical order. Let me count them real fast. I've got 22 books on my physical TBR. That is not nearly as bad as it could be because I've been putting myself on a book buying ban until I get some of these read. There are so many books that I want to buy right now. It's not even funny because a bunch of new releases have come out, and I have books from a series that I started that I want to buy. I need to read some of these that I already have before I buy more. I've really been holding myself back. It's been really hard. Also, my sweatshirt, if you've ever read It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, Lily Bloom's Florist, Boston, Massachusetts, I'm in love. I've been wearing it so much, it actually needs washed. But anyways, let's go ahead and start talking about the books on my physical TBR. If you don't know, TBR means to be read. All the books that I have in physical form that I need to read. Let's get started. First, I've got... I knew that was gonna happen. I was trying so hard to not let it happen, but I knew it would. First, we've got Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. This is the second book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. I have the fine print right here. Already read it. It was really, really good. This one is like double the size of that one. It's so thick. It's really not that big, but it's bigger than books that I'm used to reading, and I have a fear of big books, so I am excited to read this. It's about Declan and Iris. There's 3 books in this series. The third one isn't out yet, but it's about a group of brothers whose family owns Dreamland, which is like Disney World kind of, and their grandfather dies, which is who owned it, and he leaves them a bunch of stuff to inherit, and they have to like do certain things before they can actually inherit their money or whatever they're inheriting. And this is Declan's book, so I'm very excited to read this. It just is pretty thick, thicker than I'm used to. Next, we have The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I got this book a long time ago. I got it at Walmart, actually. It was whenever I kind of first started building my collection, and I had heard some good things about this, so I decided to pick it up, and then I never read it. But now I've heard so many mixed reviews on it. Like, people say it's a good concept, but it wasn't executed in the way that they wish it would have been. So I've just heard so many mixed reviews that I just haven't gravitated towards this book yet. So that's why it's still on my TBR. After that, we've got The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. I am so excited to read this one. I've heard good things about this, and it's just a little over 300 pages, so it shouldn't take me long, but it's going to be on my October TBR because I want to read spooky books during October because it's Halloween, fall time, duh. So this will be on next month's TBR, and I'm very, very excited to read it. So I actually realized that I didn't flip around these 3. So we've got 25 books that I haven't read, actually. But this is the Paradise Trilogy by Hildebrand. We've got Winter in Paradise, What Happens in Paradise, and Troubles in Paradise. And I think I forgot to flip this around because it's on my TBR for this month, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna read that. So I just like forgot. But it's currently like the 22nd of September or something like that, and I am just now starting a new book. I haven't even gotten to this series, so I don't actually think I'm gonna end up getting to this at all this month. I don't really want to take it over into October, so if I do finish the book I'm reading by the end of this month, I don't think I'm gonna pick these up. I'll probably go into a different book. But I do have these to read. I was hoping to read them during the summer, but I didn't get to. So if I'm having some summer FOMO during the winter, then I might pick these up to feel a little summer vibe. or I might just have to wait until next summer to read these. Next up, we've got 3 Colleen Hoover books. We have Without Merit, which I picked up a while ago and I just haven't read yet. I have so many other books. I got into a kick of like reading Colleen Hoover, like only, it was like just Colleen Hoover. This is my whole Colleen Hoover stack, so I've read a lot of her books, and I got into a kick of just reading her. And then I bought these books and I have heard some pretty mixed reviews on these, so I just never gravitated towards picking them up whenever I chose my next read. And It Starts With Us comes out next month, so I am very excited. I will be reading that the day it comes in. But I've got Without Merit, and then I've got the first 2 books in the Maybe Someday series, Maybe Someday and Maybe Not. Maybe Not is just a little novella that goes with it. I've heard that Maybe Someday is probably one of her worst books, so I've been very scared and hesitant to pick it up, so that's why I haven't read it yet. But I do have those 3 Colleen Hoover books. Then we've got Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the 2nd book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I actually started this book. If I open it up, I've got a bookmark on page 170. These are actually my Disney World tickets or my Disneyland tickets. I don't know how they ended up in there. Like I said, I got to page 170 and I just wasn't in it, so I DNF'd it for the time being and started a new book. But I would like to try to read this again next month. I didn't like it as much as the first book. I've heard that the 3rd book is really good, so I kind of want to get through this so I can read the 3rd book. And then we've got 2 books by Elle Kennedy. We have The Deal, which is the first book in the Off-Campus series, and then we've got The Risk, which is the 2nd book in the Briar U series. I've read The Chase, which is the first book in the Briar U series, and I didn't really like it. I gave it like a 2-star on Goodreads, I think. But after I had time to sit and think about it, I didn't dislike it as much as I initially did. The writing sounds very immature and like Wattpad-y kind of cringy. So that's why I haven't picked these up to read them yet, specifically this one, but I've heard great things about The Deal. The Deal is a little thick, once again, Fear of Thick books. This is 452 pages or something like that, so I do need to read this because I've heard so many good things about it. Then we've got Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. This is their newest release. If you didn't know, Christina Lauren is 2 co-authors, not just one person. It's a girl named Christina and a girl named Lauren. They write the books together. I was so excited about this because I've read Love in Other Words and Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by them, and I loved both of those, and so I was like, newest release. I saw it at Walmart, had to pick it up. I bought it in the hardback, and I don't like hardcover books, but I was so excited I bought it. But then I kept seeing reviews that said it's not necessarily like a romance, it's kind of like an adventure romance, and I just don't know how I feel about that. So I started it. I think I read literally like the first 2 chapters and then I DNF'd it, and I was like, we're just gonna come back to this because I was in the mood for like a good romance, and I just haven't picked it up again. So we will one day, but for right now, haven't read it. Next, I am so excited for this book, The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelitis. I think that's how you say his last name. I could be butchering that, but I'm not really sure. This book is iconic in the book community. Verity by Colleen Hoover gets kind of compared to it. From what I know, it's about a lady who shoots her husband and kills him and then never talks again. So that sounds very interesting. I am so excited to read this. It'll be on my next month's TBR for October. I am pumped, needless to say. I've been reading so many romance books. Romance is my favorite genre. I love romance books, but I am very excited to get into some murder mystery thriller books, and this one will be one of them. I'm so excited. Then we've got Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I picked this up a few weeks before the movie came out because I was like, I need to read it before I watch the movie. Still haven't watched the movie, still haven't read the book. I've just heard that it's a very slow book and it talks a lot about the scenery and the setting, and it's just like a not a very plot driven book. So they say that like the very last part is like the best. It's really hard for a book to keep my interest if it doesn't get interesting until the end, so that's why I haven't picked it up. But I do want to read it before I watch the movie, so if there's one day that I'm like, Where the Crawdads Sing sounds really good to go watch right now, I'll try to pick the book up before I go watch that. After that, we've got The Lake by Natasha Preston. This was a random purchase. It was whenever I like very first started reading. I think I had maybe 3 or 4 books in my like little library, and I was in Target and I was like, I want a book to read, something quick, something fast, and I like thriller and mystery and that kind of stuff, and I hadn't read one yet, so I was like, I'm just gonna pick this up. It was in the YA section. YA is usually pretty easy to read. This is actually, I bought it right before, if you don't know, I lived in New Orleans for a little while. It was right as Hurricane Ida hit, and I bought this right before Hurricane Ida hit, so then I was evacuating, so I just never finished it, and that's why it is still on my TBR. I'm pretty sure I read like a few chapters and then I just never got back into it. So maybe this will be on my TBR for next month whenever I'm reading like thrillers and that kind of stuff, because it looks good and I want to read it. So I could put it on my October TBR. This one is really random. It's called Spilled Milk by K.L. Randis. I actually didn't buy this. One of my friends read it and she was like, here, you can have it and read it. I liked it, so you can read it if you want to. And I was like, okay, sure. I'm sure I'll get to it eventually. It seems like a very heavy book. It's based on a true story. I'm pretty sure it's about like child abuse and like broken family life and that kind of stuff. So if I'm ever in the mood for something really heavy, I'll pick this up. Then we've got Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is my little TJR section right here. I have Malibu Rising and then all 4 of the books from her backlist, and they've got the cute little vines like that, so they look so adorable up on my shelf. But this is my last book that I need to read from her backlist. I actually just finished Maybe in Another Life. I don't have Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo or Daisy Jones and the Six. Haven't read either of those, but I really need to, because I'm such a huge TJR fan that I have a feeling I'll like them. I just haven't picked them up because I've been more interested in her backlist books. So this is my last one that I currently have on my shelf that I need to read, and I'm very excited for it. This one is so exciting. If you are a part of the book community, if you watch Book Talk, BookTube, anything like that, you'll know that the Addicted series by Kristen and Becca Richie is huge and so widely loved. I obviously have never read any of the books. This is the first one, Addicted to You. So it's the Addicted series and the Calloway Sisters series, and they kind of intertwine together. But the Addicted series is just about Lily and Lo, and this is the first book about Lily and Lo, and so I'm so excited to read this. I just bought the first book. I didn't want to buy the whole Addicted and Calloway Sisters series before I read the first book. A lot of people do say that this one isn't the best book in the series, and it's a little bit slow, but you just need to get through it to get through to the other books. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm very excited to start it. We are on the last leg. We've got They Both Die in the End by Adam Silvera. I once again started this book. I got to page 25. That's it. I got to page 25. I didn't have very many books in my little library at the time, so I had picked this one up from Walmart because it was huge on Book Talk at the time, and I started it, but then I stopped it, and I heard a lot of mixed reviews afterwards from it, and so I've just never picked it up again. And people say that they don't recommend you to read it, like it's kind of a waste of time, so we'll see if I ever pick it up again. Then for these ones, I'm not going to move them, but we have book 2 through 4 in the After series by Anna Todd. Okay, I changed my mind and I am gonna go ahead and just show you. So we have Before by Anna Todd. This is the like last book. I'm assuming it's like a prequel sequel, but you read this after you read the series. So I've got Before. We're going backwards apparently. After Ever Happy. This and Before are the only 2 books that don't have movies that go along with them. So After Ever Happy, After We Fell. This one's giant. Once again, can you guess why I haven't read these? Fear of big books. You're right. And then After We Collided. I'm actually 130 pages into After We Collided, so I took a break and I'll get back to it eventually, but it just freaks me out that I'm going to be reading one book for the next like 2 weeks because I'm a slow reader, and I want to get through so many books that I don't like that it's taking me so long to read these books, but it just does. The After series by Anna Todd, I really need to finish it. I have read the first book, so that was a good accomplishment. Last but not least, we've got Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. This is my current read. I am 86 pages into it, and it's really good so far. I love Archer already, and I love Bree. They're great characters. I love both of them. Those are all the books that I have on my physical TBR. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below some books that you have on your physical TBR, or if you have any of these books on your physical TBR. That's all I've got for you guys today. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, go turn on my post notifications so you get notified every time I upload a video. Also, go follow me on all my social medias. They're always linked down in the description below. I really do appreciate it. I love you all so much, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.